Five things you should know from 103.9 The Fox, brought to you by BioStar Services. Fire, flood, biohazard, or more, BioStar Restoration Service can quickly restore your home or business as good as new. BioStar is independently owned and operated with 24/7 emergency service and discounts to veterans. Call BioStar at 844-424-6782 or online at restorationbiostar.com. Breaking news out of the Vatican this morning. Pope Francis has died, having passed away just hours after delivering the Easter blessing in St. Peter's Square. Carrying the distinction of being the first Latin American pope, Francis generally considered one of the most popular popes in decades and a towering figure on the world stage. Pope Francis led his voice to almost every modern issue facing the world. The Pope had recently been battling a case of double pneumonia. Pope Francis was 88. Deadly motorcycle crash in Flint Township over the weekend under investigation. Multiple reports saying that a 20-year-old identified as Maddox Delameter of Leslie in Ingham County lost control of his vehicle, crashed into a guardrail along I-69 near Miller Road just before 11 Saturday night. He was thrown from his motorcycle and died at the scene. Police say that speed was a factor in that crash. The Pentagon's chief spokesperson denying reports that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth sent details of planned U.S. attacks against Yemen's Houthi rebels in a Signal app chat group that included his wife, brother, and lawyer. Tigers went 10 innings yesterday, lost to the Kansas City Royals 4-3 at Comerica Park. They're back there again tonight to take on the San Diego Padres, the start of a series. The first pitch tonight at 6:40. Great Lakes Loons doubled up the Dayton Dragons 8-4 for their third straight victory. Pistons and the Knicks will be playing Game 2 in their first-round playoff series tonight in New York, the Knicks having taken Game 1 at Madison Square Garden on Saturday. And to cap this one off, tonight's Powerball jackpot, $139 million. And over the weekend, a lucky ticket holder won the $112 million jackpot in the newly retooled Mega Millions game. That ticket was sold in the state of Ohio. That's five things you should know from 103.9 The Fox. Today's forecast calling for rain this morning with a possibility of an isolated thunderstorm and generally breezy conditions all day. Winds out of the southeast at 16 to 24. That'll shift to the southwest this afternoon and could gust up to 38 miles an hour. Temperatures today expected to top off at around 67. Cloudy skies tonight with overcast skies and lows down around 39 degrees overnight, with the sunshine set to return tomorrow, along with highs hitting about 61. Then for Wednesday, it's some sunshine mixed with the clouds, perhaps a little bit of rain in the afternoon. We'll be up near 70 on Wednesday. Right now, it's 49 in Flint, and in Saginaw, also 49.
Something and then this jerk heaven or something, and then Lenny and Squiggy are walking and go, hello.
Yes.
Well, we put on Crazy on You and Melissa walked in. Melissa Hager's in the house.
Leaving. Bye.
We've got Melissa Hager in the house, and we've got a chance for you to get signed up to win $1,000. I'm not sure which is better. 103.9 The Fox.
Well, okay. After being interrupted from our usual routine on Friday because of technical issues, which I will briefly explain in a minute, we're back on Monday, the day after Easter, and hopefully you all made it through it well and enjoyed it and made it peaceful and pleasant and maybe productive one if it needed to be that. So let's get through the start of this Monday morning, brand new week. And for us, it's a little bit rainy, and it's not too awful bad other than the fact that it was raining. I guess from what Johnny said, there were some real brief but really intense rain showers that he had to hit on the way in this morning. But things seem to be quieting down now. So let's take a little bit of roll call here. Finland is already in the house. That would be Ropsuka. Good afternoon, Ropsuka. Tina's here from New Jersey. Good morning, Tina. You guys are on YouTube, of course, because we are on Simulstream this morning. Eric is also here from California. Good morning to Eric. Ohio Kim has checked in. Morning, Ohio Kim. All of those folks are on YouTube. If you are not and you don't see their comments, that's why. Here's Canada Dan, who is also here. Good morning to Canada Dan. Our representative on Facebook right now is Fitzy with a happy Boston Marathon Day to all. Good luck to all the runners. And he's also rooting for the Red Sox, who play in a game this morning, because that happens on the day that Boston marathons are run. Sheila's here with the sunshine. We're going to try to get a little bit of that today. Going to maybe have to work hard at that, but good morning, Sheila, up in Bay City. Dale's here. Good morning to Arizona, who has rejoined us, and that's what we've got. We've only got one representative at the moment on Facebook, and everybody else has decided to hang out on YouTube to get us started here. And we are so far absent anybody on Twitch, because that's our third of the three that we use Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays: YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So off we go into a brand new day after we were interrupted last Friday morning from being able to join you guys here on our simul streams because we had basically it was technical difficulties. What happened was just before we went on the air on Friday morning, we realized that the piece of equipment that we use that keeps the what's called latency away from our broadcast process was on the fritz. And that had, because it was hooked up to our main connector to the studio, affected that. I wasn't able to connect to the studio at all. And it took us hours to be able to find the actual problem. And that problem was, and I'll show it to you, exactly what that problem was this box right here, which we still have. And right now, even though it's there and the lights are going to be lighting up a little bit, it's actually not working for us. It's completely disconnected from our system. What it does is it stops the broadcasts from having the same kind of latency issues that you might have on a cell phone, where you speak to somebody and it might be a few extra moments before they actually hear what you've said. In other words, if I were, for example, to go on the air, and it's not happening this morning so far, thankfully, but that doesn't mean it won't. If I go on the air and I were just to say the simple phrase 1, 2, 3, if this problem were persisting, as they say, is not at the moment, but we're waiting on it because this happened once before when we had this deal without that little connector box. If I said 1, 2, 3, he'd only be hearing 1 while I was saying 3 in that sequence. See what I'm saying? 1, 2, 3. As I said 3, he would have been hearing on his end 1, and that would have been what was going on the air. It's that latency, that lag kind of problem. And you have that on cell phones, which creates all these clumsy calls where you say something to somebody and the person on the other end doesn't hear it right away. They only hear it a fraction of a second later, but they don't respond to you. So therefore, when you're sitting there in silence, you feel that you need to jump in and say something else. So just as you do, that's when the person on the other end heard that comment that you originally made, and then you end up talking over each other. That's just maddening. It's always been a situation with cell phones. Hopefully they'll get rid of it, but that was the issue. And that's what was going on Friday and prevented us from being able to connect up with the studio and therefore being able to do what we normally do. Evidently, we're thinking about using latency as our word of the day, because Linda has been considering that. Tina seems to be on board. Here is Mel. Good evening, Mel. And she's over on Facebook. If you don't see her, that's why. She's over on Facebook. Most everybody else is on YouTube right now. But that's where we are. Yes, latency is the possible word of the day. That's right now under heavy consideration. Shall we, because it is a brand new week and it's Monday and after a holiday and for some people a really nice one, let me give you two smile sources to get your day started. I want to give you two canines who live in Plymouth, Massachusetts. They are English golden doodles named Finnegan and Fiona. Okay? Finnegan is here. Whoops. I want to start that crap again with my iris. And then that one. That's Fiona. Finnegan and Fiona. Those are your smile sources for this Monday, 21st of April. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, Boss Lady Penguin is also now here from Alabama. Good morning, Alabama, to our live and local reporter from that scene. Again, reporting on YouTube for us. Rob Suka says the 4-day weekend is over. Some people might have had that. We didn't. We worked all of it. All of it. I mean, I was working on the other projects that I do. In fact, I've got a whole bunch of them to do, and I've still got some to do for the next couple of days as holdovers. Aw. Yes, let's ask here. How's Thelma doing? That's Tina. Tina, of course, was having issues health-wise when last we spoke last week, which I think was Thursday in the Hal Ho Saloon, and we had found that I had gotten information that Tina had to have a little bit of health upgrade done. Hopefully that's working out. It's 49 Fahrenheit degrees right now. We're going to be in the 60s today and probably be hitting 70 by midweek. In fact, by the end of the week, we'll be definitely hitting the 70s again. Tina's back to normal today. That's good. That's awesome. That's awesome. If you are one of those who are joining us on Facebook, or should say YouTube, actually, we got some Facebook people. Nobody on Twitch yet, but if you are on YouTube and have not yet done so, please like and subscribe as we continue to add to the group here one by one by one. The doctor called it Roto-Rooter. Wow. Wow. Can you send our Instagram? Yopsuka wants to know. What you want to send? Finland Rescue Dog. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Sure, absolutely do that. Okay, Mel Mel has shifted operations because all the fun is happening on YouTube right now, so she's there. Good evening, Mel Mel, once again. We are. Going to be 67 today in Culver City. 54 waking up right now on this Monday morning, the 21st of April. We got a bunch of birthdays the last couple of days here that we've either missed or are celebrating today. I want to run down those in just a second here, but right now, Johnny and Steph and Melissa.
Speaking of which,
She's in the house. How was your Easter?
it was fantastic. There is so much wonderful candy. I'm so thankful. My in-laws had this cool idea, and the boys got fruit buckets, like full of this really awesome fruit. But unbeknownst to me, there was secret candy stashes that were slipped to them. Because as we left, I was like, wait, where'd all this candy come from? Well, Papa said he felt like he was torturing us with all that fruit.
That's what my partner did. She
Oh, look at you.
brought me deviled eggs and candy
Oh,
and
my
ham.
goodness.
And I've got a little bit of everything going on
I
here.
feel like we need to have a deviled egg discussion. I had 3 different versions yesterday from 3 different people.
All right.
And they all tasted different. Yeah? And it blows my mind how that can be so different.
You know, my wife makes extraordinarily good ones, and I was just tasting Steph's, and they're very similar. So I would assume that they probably have similar recipes. I mean, for the most part, the only thing that I would say would be different, my wife has nutmeg or something she puts on the top. Not
Yeah. Or paprika, I think
Paprika,
usually
paprika,
do.
right, it's
See,
paprika.
maybe I don't know how to make it. It's not just the yellow part and a little mustard and mayo, isn't that?
I do mayonnaise, mustard, and salt and pepper, and that's it.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to ask
what I
my wife
thought.
what she does, but hers are extraordinary. And these were very, very good here this morning. So, yeah.
And the only reason I don't do the paprika is because I refuse to buy it just for deviled eggs. The deviled eggs were expensive enough, so they were paprika-less.
Very good. All right.
Well, I had one yesterday that had a little sweet relish in it also.
Oh,
and that was
That's
quite
different.
Yeah,
I don't
she
think
said,
I would
said,
like that.
This tastes way different. And she goes, oh, I put sweet relish in mine. I was like, huh.
I don't know if I would like that.
It was
Did
different.
you like it?
I did. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
All right.
But anyways,
Well, anyway, we're back in normal.
is that why the fan's on in here? Because
Yeah.
everybody's
That is
saying
my perpetual hot flashes.
it's Egg Fart Monday?
Well, and he's had 2 or 3 already.
7:13 our time. We're less than 10 minutes away from your chance to sign up to win the Fox $1,000 Thursday drawing coming up at 7:20 on Thursday morning. But we give you 4 chances every weekday to sign up to win that. 7:20 always being the first one, so that's less than 10 minutes away. Also, coming up this hour, a story apparently ancient Persians, which is, today's Iraq, by the way, debated big decisions twice. Once drunk and once sober.
Oh, boy.
This was done for all decisions. And I said,
For a whole country?
and I think this is something that we need to reinstitute.
Oh, boy.
Because, drunk mind speaks sober thoughts. You've heard that. Drunk tongue speaks sober words. That would be apparently ancient Persians thought that they should indulge at all times over all things. So they decided that all decisions have to be debated twice. Once one's sober and once when they're not. Which is,
I wonder what the ratio is.
that'd be interesting. You see Biden and Trump debating.
Trump.
How funny would that be? Holy cow.
Biden might be able to walk without falling, actually.
Yeah.
I feel like he'd probably
Yeah.
steady up.
Reverse osmosis, right?
Yeah, you drink yourself sober. One of those things, yeah.
You're like, I feel
Yeah.
pretty good.
It was their custom to deliberate about the gravest matters when they were drunk, according to Herodotus, who wrote this in the texts on Greco-Persian conflicts. If being sober, they still approve it, they act on it. But if not, they drop it.
Oh, okay.
So that's how it goes. You didn't read
Well,
it,
at least
but-
there's rules.
Yeah, apparently were.
And at least the drunk part comes first. Could you imagine? You know how that is. They make a sober decision, then they start having drinks, and they're like, and another thing.
Yeah.
I was just thinking this would come in handy for husband-wife relationships.
Oh,
Honey, you
don't act like that's not how you guys do it anyways.
want me to take the garbage out tonight? No, let's have a drink first.
Okay.
This is the Foxhole Morning Show.
Okay, we'll get to the traffic moments from now. So far, things have been pretty decent shape, and still, I think, in pretty good shape. Well, we got one problem here. Okay, da-da-da-da-da. There's that. I guess we got to do this, too. Yeah, that's it. All right. Try that. Okay. Other thing, we're talking about birthdays. Steph's birthday was Saturday. It was celebrated on the air on Friday. And, of course, because of the technical thing that we were going through here, didn't get a chance to take part in that. Did go out to lunch with them after the show, though, for a little while. That was an interesting and fun time. And it was just raining. You could barely see. When I was driving home from that, you could barely see in front of the car. It was raining so hard for a little bit there, which was kind of contrary to what the forecast was talking about. So that was Friday. Steph's actual birthday was Saturday. Billy D's birthday was yesterday, 4/20, of course. Today is Bonzo's birthday. I don't know if she'll join us, but if she does, it's usually on Facebook, our education secretary. And then on Wednesday, day after tomorrow, is Johnny's birthday. So we are in a birthday blitz right now here.
Plumbing, heating, cooling, heat pumps, and water heaters. Traditional and tankless. Terry Allen is the affordable experience. Expert in Genesee County. Businesses trust Terry Allen. Your neighbors trust Terry Allen. You can trust Terry Allen for your home or business. For affordable and best of class.
So I guess June is the
Terry Allen Plumbing and Heating. Or
is the
connect online at
big month for weddings all the time, and
We can show you
apparently
how to save
April
money
is the
at
big month for
Terry Allen.
birthdays all the time.
It's Kubota Orange Days at Alderman's and Lennon.
Yes, Louise, get baking. We need cakes. We need mass communication. We need massive cakes. Turn it into a factory over there. Jeez.
Extractor and have it delivered in time for all your spring landscaping projects. Now through June 30th. Get 0 down and 0% APR for 84 months. See Kubota Orange Days.
Mel saying she fell 8 times in 1 week. This is your mom who did? I've been there. When my mom was living with us, that's what was happening. Not 8 times in a week, but I kept getting calls about she had fallen. I had to get home, pick her up, and that was the problem. I remember that years ago. That was wow.
Enjoy your favorite pastime and the chance to
Tina was a June bride, of course. Of course.
with 1, 2, or 3 new ways to play the new Detroit Tigers games only from the Michigan Lottery.
At one time,
With permission. Divorce, custody.
worked with one of our morning shows in the old station I was working at. The host of that morning show at that time, when we were working together, got married. He was one of those, he and his then fiance were one of those couples that decided to get married on 07/07 of 07, April 7th of 2007. And I wonder if they're still together. I've lost touch with them since we are no longer working together. It's been quite a while since we were. I've lost touch with them to find out if they're still together. I always wonder about people who use kind of a gimmicky way to get married Does that work out in the end? Are they able to overcome that? Mel is 8 hours away from your mom. Wow. Jeez. That takes longer to get than it takes to get from New York to L.A. Mel was an August bride, then a September bride. City of Burton, we're still looking at a new crash. This is going to be Center Road at eastbound 69. That is our one problem point, potential slow-go spot right now. Center at eastbound 69. For updated traffic information, you can always check out classicfox.com/traffic. And if you spot a slowdown, let us know at 810-230-WRSR. That's 810-230-9777 to be a traffic tipster on 103.9 The Fox.
Flint's local contest authority. 103.9 The Fox.
Big deal alert.
Need some work done on your car? How about a great dinner out on the town? Here's a great way to save on these things and more. Go to our new website, foxbigdeals.com.
That's the deal.
Save up to 50% off retail prices.
This is a big deal.
Shop it every day because you never know what's going to be available today and gone tomorrow.
Wow, this could save us a lot of money.
Click on foxbigdeals.com from Flint's 103.9 The Fox.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and...
Okay, we're going to get another qualifier for that $1,000 prize. The Mega Millions has been retooled. We've been talking about that off and on for the last couple weeks since they decided to introduce a few little adjustments to the game, and it didn't take long for a jackpot to be won under the new slightly altered format where they start at a $50 million base instead of 20, and they work up from there. And it took only until $112 million for somebody to win that jackpot on Friday night. One single ticket holder in the state of Ohio won $112 million. Tonight it's the Powerball jackpot, which is coming up at $139 million. Rob Suka needs $1,000 or 1,000, whatever your unit of currency is. Still, people are still looking for ways to be able to afford eggs on a regular basis. We're finding out a national survey that said that almost half, 49% of people who were surveyed have altered and did alter their Easter plans in some way or another to account for the fact that it costs so much for eggs these days. At least it used to cost more than it did. The price is starting to come down a little bit, but bird flu outbreak is still an issue a little bit. And so they're a little bit more expensive than used to. And as a result, people are still curtailing the amount of eggs that they buy.
Hey, hello.
Hey, who's on our phone?
This is Chris, the guy that won the Tigers tickets that went yesterday to the fantastic game that, we lost, but great seat.
Shut up, and you're actually caller 9 this morning.
Yeah, you did it.
Very nice.
I got two things in this world. Get out, get live, or get old, and wake up a winner.
There you go. I like it a lot, Chris.
Waking up a winner means you got to be listening to the Fox because we're the only ones with live and local contests. And you just pulled that one off, Chris. Congratulations. You are now signed up to win $1,000 on our Thursday morning show at this time, right around 7:20. We take all 16 of our qualifiers, and we put them in a hat for the drawing, and for one of them gets $1,000. We've done that 3 weeks in a row already. We're going to get you in here the fourth week. You're in Thursday's drawing. Good luck from 103.9 The Fox. Thank you so much from 103.9.
All right, well, since we've got a fair amount of you here right now, before you get off on your Monday and the things that you have to do, we definitely want to make sure that when you are able to enter into your Monday, you are fresh, up to date with the new race in town. We're talking about the tweaked lottery game. There is a new race to pay attention to. And I'm not talking about car racing. I am not talking about horse racing. I am not talking about Yorkie racing. Well, wiener dog racing. We do those. There have been some Yorkie races too, but those wiener dog races are real popular in the Frankenmuth area, and they've been doing those for a long time. Sween Dog's here on Facebook. Good morning to Sween Dog in Massachusetts. Talking about dogs here. You've got a couple of them right here. They live in Plymouth. These are our smile sources today. We already introduced you to Finnegan and Fiona. They are in Plymouth, Massachusetts, where the famous Mayflower event happened. The new race, the brand new race. It's a sperm race. It's a sperm race. Brand new idea. Unusual startup announced it. World's first. This is a race involving actual sperm. It's coming up this Friday, April the 25th, at the Hollywood Palladium in Los Angeles. This is a startup named Sperm Racing. That's the name of the company. It was founded by a team of young millionaires, of course. Announced representatives from two competing schools, University of Southern California and the University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA, are going to provide the microscopic swimmers for this inaugural sperm race, which is going to take place under a microscopic camera that will track the progress of the sperms as they attempt to cross the finish line. The startup said that there will be 3 races held to determine an overall winner, and play-by-play commentary will be provided during each heat. Now, I used to do play-by-play, but I've done yacht racing, which is about as slow as what this promises to be, but this is it. This is it. There will also be instant replays, leaderboards, and betting through approved partners. Not whales, not sperm whales, Sween Dog. This is the kind of thing that you would not think would be racing. Linda doesn't think you need that race. If it's excitement, and particularly these days, if it's something you bet on. If it's something you bet on, everybody will welcome it. That's the new kind of hot thing in the world, is being able to bet on pretty much anything legally. Question from Rusty, who is joining us on Facebook. Our good friend Rusty. Where do they find the jockeys to race these sperms? Definitely not Zane has joined us now. New Zealand is in, or South Africa, I'm sorry. South Africa. This is going to be on Twitch that we find definitely not Zane. I wonder where we have to go to find Zane. I've always wondered that. Charlie's here, and he wants to know if this is being done in a gene pool. He's on Facebook. Good morning. That is really outright disgusting, says Boss Lady Penguin. It's different. There's no question. It's different. Rob Suka's throwing a good morning your way, Rusty. You can't see him because he's on YouTube. We're on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch today. And so we've got people representing all 3 platforms. Definitely not Zane over there on Twitch. And definitely is Rob Suka on YouTube. And definitely is Rusty on Facebook. Tina's saying hi to you also, Rusty. Rusty continuing his rebound from big health issues. We follow his progress regularly now to see how he's backing into regular activity, despite a health setback, which is a challenge to bounce back from, but he seems to be working hard at it. One thing about him is that hard work has never been something that he's been foreign to. I mean, we used to work with him when he was our producer over here, and so we've seen behind the scenes exactly how much hard work Rusty is used to. So coming back from this setback, which required that, he's filling the bill to do it. For sure. So anyway, the sperm race is coming up this Friday. We're going to be we certainly aren't going to be able to present the results because this is going to be run, if it's out in LA or out in the LA area, it's going to be a lot later than our show. So I won't be able to, unfortunately, provide the results, and you'll have to find them out online over the weekend, and I'm sure you'll want to. I don't know where Vince is right now, Rob Suk. Quite possibly he's back to work. I don't know. Wasn't he on vacation for a week? He was talking about having one of those kind of staycation kind of things, so he was able to join us virtually every day last week. I can't even imagine what that is, Rusty. He's saying it is hard, and I can't even imagine what that is. He's on Facebook. For those who are on YouTube, don't see his comments. Rusty, how much time per day do you have to put in to be able to get used to the new edition? I mean, are you prescribed a certain amount of time you have to do per day, or is it just something that you're on your own as far as how ambitious you want to be with that? Finish line. Who determines what that is? That's an interesting question about the sperm race brought up by Linda. Who determines what the finish line is? Ronnie is on Facebook with Rusty, and you guys can probably see each other's comments because he is coming back from his setback, and right now none due to insurance. Oh, I see. Insurance plays a role in that. Okay. Okay. That's enlightening. That's enlightening. Here's a thought from Linda. Maybe that finish line is some's got to get pregnant. Maybe. They finish at conception, says Charlie on Facebook. But Rusty has done okay on the prosthetic. That's good. That's good. That is encouraging. Yeah, it is the Boston Marathon today, Sween Dog. Fitzy came in this morning on Facebook and brought our attention to that. In fact, that the Red Sox always play a morning game on those Boston Marathon days. Oh, my gosh. See, this is how things can get screwed up. Here's the latest rumor, because Robsuka heard what we were saying a little bit incorrectly and said, Linda pregnant? I don't think we're going to go that route. She was bringing up as possibly that being the designated finish line for this race, which is happening in California in the Hollywood Palladium, a sperm race that is going to be held this Friday. How has Johnny not volunteered to be involved in this, says Rusty.
7:32 in the Foxhole, just ahead of Steph's Fox Flashback, a chance for you to choose.
I bet if he knew about it, he probably would be.
One more Tiger. It's
He hadn't heard about the Pope when we came on the air this morning, and I broke it at 6 o'clock, and that's the first he was hearing about it.
$1 gift certificate to Jester's.
before we go back to 20s.
Yeah, they have their 41st anniversary. They upped the game to $41 gift certificates. We have one left, and you can choose that or the Tiger game, your choice, coming up here on the Fox. We also have in the studio with us the lovely and just beautiful Melissa Hager, who is wearing her smile shirt here this morning.
Why not?
Rob Suka's doing the face blue wide-eyed emoji that's being described to us. Did we report that the Pope is... Yeah, we led with that at 6 o'clock, Charlie. Yes. You obviously were not listening.
I've always wanted to go.
I'm taking
And we talked about it at 7 o'clock.
This company I work for, they let me bring travelers as long as they can stay in my hotel room. So I begged Rob. I was like, I take the kids. It's just so... we're still in the United States.
We found out about that around 4 o'clock this morning, actually.
I took my passport, went to international travel, and they scanned my ticket, and they're like, honey, that's in the United States. I was like, it is? I'm so...
You know how many people do that? How many people believe New Mexico is another country?
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, but we still have
That's where the
school,
Air
so
Force
good
is.
luck.
The Air Force is located in Albuquerque. They've got a big base there.
Man, I am so looking forward to going. We're actually staying a couple extra days. But anyways, next week, John Caparulo comes here from Vegas.
Yes.
So excited. Frankenmuth and Houghton Lake, thecomedyseries.net. Go get tickets. They're flying off the shelves. I cannot wait.
This guy's an angry guy, but he's one of these. He does an angry bit, but he does it with a big smile on his face,
And it's so funny.
He's kind of unassuming, but he does the anger thing.
And he looks like a little boy. Like he's a grown man, but he's short and he's got a little boy face and a boy voice, and it's so funny.
Pretty funny stuff.
Can't wait.
All
Can't
right.
wait.
And you can get those tickets at thecomedyseries.net to follow it along wherever Melissa is and wherever some of the other shows are that Melissa's company books.
Oh, we have so much great summer stuff this year.
Right.
This is our first summer. I'm going to tell you, it is slam-packed full. All the lakes and waterfront, everything up north, we got them all. And it is going to be awesome.
Because what they discovered, if you recall last year we talked about this, is that in the summertime people don't go to regular comedy clubs and bars to listen to their comedy. They go to the festivals and some of the events that are going on. And there are a lot of comics that have been starting to do those events. Melissa is one of them that does it. I know you're going to do Millington again. You always do that.
Yeah, they have Waylon, Hannel, and I kicking off Hometown Days again for Hometown Night. We will be there Thursday. And I just found this out because this year, every 5 years, Cheeseburger Fest and Millington Old Fashioned Days overlap. And the Millington Old Fashioned Days actually moved their festival so Waylon and I could be there because Waylon and I are supposed to be at Cheeseburger also.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, what an honor. And then the lady goes, well, I mean, obviously more for Waylon. I was like, yeah, you know what? You can stop.
You don't have to be so mean.
You can stop talking, okay?
103.9 The Fox. Hello out there.
Hello, Johnny.
Hey!
Is Melissa there?
I'm here.
Can you do me a favor?
I sure can.
You're going to Mexico, right?
I am.
There's a guy there. His name is Albuquerque. Only $5. He owes me $5.
She'll collect for you, brother.
I'll find him.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye.
Boy, I sure hope you know how to,
I hope he's not driving.
get a hold of that caller.
Yeah. That's what he does for a living. He's a cab driver. All right. Hey, don't forget Professional Hearing Clinic. They're pros.
Well, looks like with his yo-yo is our resident roofer and all-purpose house builder, Tim Fan. Welcome to Tim Fan today, who's mowing. Well, you know, the good part about that story and the fact that you're doing that is the fact that you're not using a snowblower to do it, okay? We're at that point of the year now where we're talking zero-turn mowers rather than snowblowers. So, okay, everything positive there. That's how that goes, right? Takes 8 hours to mow. Where are you mowing? Oh, now you're a landscaper also. Tim Fan says, where the hell would you be mowing for 8 hours? It takes less than that to mow a golf course. 23 acres. You're mowing 23 acres. Wow. Okay. Well, I guess, today is going to be a windy day, but other than that, it should be all right, I would think. We just somehow heard moments ago on our air our San Francisco treat, and here he is now on Facebook. Morning Chris, up early in the morning in California, or possibly carrying over from last night, because it sounded when he was on the air like maybe that was the case. Although Linda's dismantling a flower bed, but that's not happening today, evidently. We'll get to the traffic in a second because Steph's Fox Flashback's coming up in a moment. Yes, Chris, Rusty is here with us. Always glad to see him here. And you as well. Rob Suka wants the saloon to open tomorrow. Sween Dog planted flowers Saturday. I'm starting to see they're cherry blossoms, those white things on the trees that are starting to pop out around the early part of spring, and usually do it in Birch Run. I was driving around yesterday a bit and saw some trees that were doing that, so we're getting there. We're getting there. Yo, Chris, Rusty is there. He saw your comments. Cherry blossoms in full bloom in San Francisco. Awesome. Awesome. I don't know. Definitely not Zane. You still there? Because you right now, you're the only one that I know of that's hanging out on Twitch and missing all the great comments. So if you need me to relay comments, I can do that to you in South Africa.
Did you see Congresswoman Kristen McDonald
As I continue to search for Zane. We have definitely not Zane here, but I definitely have curiosity about who Zane is that you don't want to be associated with. Okay, I hear a trash truck going by. I'm wondering if they're picking up our trash this early in the morning. 7:39 a.m. in the Eastern Time Zone. Now, Tina says that Tina Jr. put out the fake plants. They look real and deer resistant. We were discussing before we came on our live stream today, people that are having animals chew through their wiring and how that's becoming kind of a phenomenon. In one case, it was a woman who had a squirrel that was chewing the wiring in her tree, and then we had somebody else locally who had that issue going on with some other type of rodent or some type of creature. Right now, one problem point, potential slowdown. It's a crash eastbound 69 at Center Road in the city of Burton. If you happen to spot other slowdowns for any reason, we invite you to let us know about them at 810-230-WRSR. That is 810-230-9777 to be a traffic tipster on 103.9 The Fox.
So in April of 1993, they don't say if it was April 20th or not, he was arrested in New York City's Washington Square Park for buying what he described as, quote, $10 worth of Jamaican bunk reefer. Have you ever had any Jamaican bunk reefer?
Only on 420 days.
Okay, all right. But he bought it from an undercover police officer. Whoopsie. The arrest made headlines and became a late-night television punchline. When asked by Howard Stern whether the bust was a publicity stunt, he said, Howard, quote, in New York City, this small of a bust is a $35 traffic citation. It literally says on the ticket, Buick, Chevy, or other. Your dog poops on the sidewalk. It's $50. If I was looking for publicity, I would have pooped on the sidewalk, Howard. Let's get into it from the 1978 album Van Halen. It's David Lee Roth and Van Halen with this one on the Fox.
Well, yeah. So Johnny mentioned that the theory is one of the reasons why we're suddenly starting to see animals chew through the wiring of vehicles is that in an effort to be a little bit greener, the automobile industry is using a soy-based material to build their wiring with. Soy-based material. And that might be the thing that is attracting the animals. The smell is attracting the animals to the wiring inside of vehicles that would not have been all that interested in years past. So there's that. Happened to see several times over the last several days since the last time I spoke with you guys, these Jardiance ads continue to pop up again. We've been following this ever since that phenomenon about how they had to completely retool that Jardiance campaign because so many people were complaining about the song that was being used and how irritating it was to them. And so their focus groups were coming back saying, we hate this song. They don't even worry about the product, whether the product's going to actually help with the A1C issue or anything. They just hate the damn song. So they went through two different women who sang it. And then when they finally brought this black fellow on to sing it, that's when the hammer went down. He only got to air that a few times, and then suddenly he came back on just dancing amid a kind of a dance troupe, which was kind of like the whole vibe for those whole batch of Jardiance ads, with the old really hated song. Was all about doing like a dance routine, almost like a Broadway show production. Well, okay, they kept the Broadway show production, but they changed this song, and they took the guys singing out of it completely. Now they have completely reworked it so that the last of the women who was singing the song is still on again, and she's got her dance troupe, and they're still dancing in the aisles of a supermarket, but there's hardly any, there's music, but you can't hear it. It's so quiet. There's an announcer who's basically coming on what would be the store loudspeaker talking about Jardiance in aisle 4, whatever it is, and they're still doing a rhythmic dance routine, but to a song that is so quiet you can't hear if there's any rhythm to it. It's the weirdest way to present an ad about A1C and battling that. So I don't know. To me, they were better off with the song that was just annoying people, because at least they were getting some kind of, I don't know, some kind of a logic to the presentation of the ad than there isn't at that kind of thing now. Now, in the case of Chris, our San Francisco treat, who says Mrs. Chris's pasta tastes like wiring.
There you go. My nod to spring this morning here. All right?
The only reason I'm into that commercial, Ed, was because of the fact that I do a lot of that kind of thing right now. That's one of the things I'm doing, is doing video short commercial ads that show up on social media. It's called UGC ads, user-generated content. And so I pay attention when things are changed in an ad, because occasionally I'm asked to tweak something in something that we might have done. But in this particular case, it was so blatant that it happened with after two women had sung this ad jingle, that when the black guy finally got to sing it, he didn't get to do it more than a few handful of times before he had to come on and just dance and smile. They didn't let him sing anymore. That's what called my attention to it, like a fire alarm, wondering, why did they do that? Is it because it's a guy? Is it because he's a different color? What is it? And then it turned out, after I did the research, it was because people hated the song. Didn't make any difference who was singing it. They hated the song. Now they're trying to rework the ad campaign so that song is completely gone from it, but still trying to deliver the same message. How do you do that? That's up to a highly paid ad agency, and I'm not one of those.
Those don't sound very lullaby-ish to me.
But she does a really good job.
You won't see me singing for nothing. Nothing.
More soothing.
Really?
I've got more than a few of them. Yeah.
Wow.
Good morning, the Fox. What is the name of David Lee Roth's sister?
Sarah?
It was not Sarah. No, thank you. Good morning, the Fox. Do you have an answer for us?
Yes, is it Lisa?
It is. It's Lisa Roth.
Oh.
Yes. And I dare say, with over 100 albums sold and on the market, she might have done better musically than David Lee Roth did.
That's amazing. I never heard her.
Yeah. Are you familiar with the series at all, Pam?
The series?
Yeah, the rockabye music stuff.
No, not really. No.
Oh, they're super cool.
Now they have better singers, Rusty says.
They do a really
I
nice
will do
job.
that.
Yeah.
You don't hear any music. What are they singing?
I'm doing fine, thanks. How are you?
I'm good.
Lisa Lee Roth, yeah.
And we've got a $41 gift certificate for Jesters, or we have that last
Oh,
one
free to
that-
laugh. Now, Chris has switched over to YouTube and thinks that we're taller now on YouTube. Well, I put on the lifts, the shoes for lift. Oh, by the way, I did an ad for that. Among all of those that I've done, several dozen of them, one of them was for a pair of sneakers that have lifts in them. They lift you up like almost 2 inches in height.
3.9 the Fox.
Before your commute, get the latest vehicle city traffic.
So if that ever shows up in your social media feed, that is it. Because, hey, you never know. Never know. Swing Dog was watching David Lee Roth just yesterday. Rusty says it's bluesier. The music that they're singing, boy, I have to say, I didn't hear that one. What I saw today, I think I saw it once today and several times over the weekend, was this woman who was the last to sing the annoying jingle. she put a little more of a soulful feel to it, but she was there in the middle of the grocery aisle with a whole bunch of dancers around him, and they're dancing rhythmically to music that you can barely hear because it's so quiet and doesn't have seemingly any beat to it at all to be dancing to. Rusty only needs one of those now. Okay. Boss Lady would like some lifts in her shoes. She's only 5 feet. Do people joke with you about that? Do people joke with you about your height? Now Chris has gone over to Twitch and says I look skinnier over there. Well, then in that case, stay there. In that case, stay there. Chris, if you think I look skinnier on Twitch, stay there. That looks good. Anything we can do. Anything we can do. I put a new 9-volt battery in my bathroom scale, which is down here right behind me, and I'm still thinking of jumping on that thing again and starting to do those Friday weigh-ins one more time like we used to do. Because I've been away from them for a long time, and I feel definitely heavier. And I don't want that to be the case. And Linda, of course, takes her backup dancers every single time she goes shopping. So you can definitely relate to that ad. Definitely. Rob Suka thinks Twitch is lame. Well, maybe Chris, while he's there, can liven it up a little bit for us. I know we had our problems with Twitch, but it's been good enough for us to keep as part of our little thing that we do on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Eric is 5'3", short and what he calls fun size. Needs lifts to get up to 5'4", 5'5". How tall is that? Rob Suka wants to know how tall. 6 feet. I've been 6 feet in my life. Let's put it that way. Okay, Boss Lady says that Mr. Boss Lady all the time tells her that he has seen pygmies taller than her. Wow. Okay, Rusty. That's funny. You said you got to run, so we'll talk to you in the next time, all right? Rusty on Facebook, bidding adieu to all of you. Chris says he's 6 feet wide. 6 feet wide. See? Aren't y'all glad you showed up on Monday morning for this? Huh? I think we're going to hear another song before we get to the news. We definitely are, because we got time.
Fox.com and listen to 103.9 The Fox anywhere you go.
Hey, we have a Fox Big Deals deal to reveal.
Good rhyming.
Fox Deals deal to reveal. Coming up next, Schlemiel. 103.9 The Fox.
You know, talking about dancing in a store, as Linda was when she takes her dancers there, and the people in Jardiance seem to think that that's the perfect place to introduce the antidote to A1C problems, is inside a grocery store. When I was in a supermarket, specifically Walmart, about a week to a week and a half ago, I noticed a woman who was there who looked to me like she was in her, well, it's hard to, I really, really hate to guess anybody's age, let alone a woman, because you don't want to do that. But let's just say that she looked as she was a senior. She was a senior. Did I participate in the tall shoes of the 70s? No. That'd be like walking on stilts. Like, I always felt sorry for the guys who played in Kiss, the band. Because those guys, they're standing up 5 feet in the air on those things that they were wearing. And I always felt you're going to fall off of those things. You're going to shatter an ankle. You'll never get it back. I would have been afraid of heights going up that high. Like that. Jim is 6'3". Okay, so her Mr. Boss Lady's 6'3". She's 5 feet. What a pair, her mom used to call Mutt and Jeff. Yes, Mutt and Jeff. We do remember that, for sure. We now have Michael George Bathurst reporting live from Canada. We're still your friends, Michael. He's over on Facebook right now. For those who can't see his comments, a lot of the Canadians are starting to look at the United States and saying, but we're still buddies. We still don't hate you. None of us do. That's for sure. Okay, that's about a 2-minute delay, says, well, that's better than what we were looking at when we came on the air this morning. I thought we were going to be a 2-minute delay going on the air because Friday we had this issue with this little box that we have that prevents the latency from being an issue between me and going on the air. So far, it's been fine. I keep my fingers crossed that it will stay that way. But we've needed that box up till now to prevent the delay that you're talking about. Maybe not to that exaggerated degree, but for it to be such a problem that if I were to count 1, 2, 3, I'd be saying 3 when Johnny would be hearing 1. That's what was happening with the latency issue. That was a problem there. And is a problem on cell phones far and wide. But we're not using that little box now. We just disconnected it, going straight to the let's go on the air through the Comrex unit that we use here. You threw your scale over the balcony, Boss Lady Penguin said. Okay, we're going to go with latency as the word. That's it. How old is that great sounding microphone? This one here? Well, it's been with me for 8 years, and right now it needs, you can't see it, but it does need duct tape right up there in order to hold it together. So it's been a while. It's been a while.
I think so.
Thursday or Friday of last week, you heard that Zach Starkey, Ringo's
Now we've got Slyman joining us from New Hampshire, where they're celebrating Marathon Monday, Boston Marathon over there.
Roger Daltrey are being held responsible for the firing, and then now we come into work on Monday morning and he's back with the band.
Well, Friday, we knew that the band had just played 3 or 4 shows for the British Cancer charity that Roger Daltrey runs for kids with cancer.
Right.
And this was to benefit that cause. And you mentioned overplaying, and that did have something to do with it. So between Pete Townsend, who is not fully recovered from a knee surgery just 4.5 months ago, between Pete Townsend not really being up on his guitar skills after that surgery, and then Zach Starkey kind of over drumming, Roger Daltrey couldn't hear the song that they were doing in key.
All right.
And he had to hear it in key.
Okay.
So somehow through all of that, it all got pinned on Zach, and they fired him. So now today, all of a sudden, it's a miscommunication, and Zach is back in the band.
Blame the drummer. That's like a
Always.
rock and roll credo.
Yep,
so
you betcha.
Blame the drummer.
Yep,
He wasn't keeping beat,
yep.
or he was too loud, or
It's
whatever.
not that the guy singing couldn't hit that note anymore. It's the drummer's fault.
That's hilarious.
So,
Well, okay, so Zach Starkey's back in the
Back
league.
in the
They're all
band.
rest easy now. It's while we're bringing up ex-Beatles, I guess, because Zach Starkey reminds us of Ringo, and Ringo reminds me of Paul McCartney, and I have no idea how that happened. But anyway, there are some rare photos that have been uncovered that Paul McCartney took, apparently in the early years, like 1963, in December of 63 and February 64, and they're going to display them this spring at the Gagosian LA Art Gallery. The only person in here that travels to see stuff like that would be you. All right, so Steph.
yeah, but I'm going to Denver this year for Metallica, not LA.
There you go. I also have a friend of mine that works with me over at Susky Jan.
Yeah.
And Pam, I'm sorry, I called her Jan. Oh, she's going to laugh about that. We called her a million different names over there. Anyway, Pam is like the biggest Paul McCartney freak
Okay.
there is out
You've
there.
mentioned her before, yes.
Yeah, she absolutely, every day she asks me if he's still alive. When I come into the dealership, she says, Paul, is my man still alive? Is my man still alive?
Aw.
So, yeah, Pam, he's still alive, and he's putting on apparently a show with some of these old photos that he has taken from very early days of the Beatles. So that'd be
Nice.
kind of cool. Could be kind of neat.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, it's
You know, people ask me that all the time.
do they?
Is Johnny Berkey still alive?
Oh, stop. All right, so Dr. Dealgood's not here today, and we're taking his place on the Fox.
Yeah, we are.
Joe from the Anything for a Buck sales staff couldn't make it to work today. Dr. Dealgood has left us with a great deal going on. And by the way, Friday Friday for Steph's birthday is Saturday. So Hal and I decided we wanted to take her out to lunch on Friday. We asked her where she wanted to go. She picked Lee's Famous Chicken because she's heard me raving about their fish over there. And since Friday was a fish day, Good Friday in Lent, she said, let's go down to Lee's Famous. What'd you think?
It was phenomenal. Probably some of the best fish I've ever eaten.
It really is great.
Yeah.
And other stuff they have the chicken livers, and they have the gizzards, and they have great chicken.
Yeah, I had the fried chicken. It was awesome.
Is kind of saying it's really Colonel's recipe because the Colonel is the guy's uncle.
Wow.
Mr. Famous Lee out of Kentucky.
Yeah.
So anyway, we've got some deals.
We do. I'm going to hurry up and get some.
Yes, boss lady, that's true.
Lee's Famous
And this is just after he was out doing the blessing at St. Peter's Square yesterday, which is why people were so shocked to find this out. Broke about 4 o'clock this morning that he had passed away. We're going to talk about that on the news here in a second. But he was there addressing the crowd as he was bouncing back from his illness. And people were thinking that he was kind of on the road to recovery, but not so.
And golf, I know you guys or Johnny, you're looking forward to golf.
To do some of this golf.
Yeah, we've got a Copper Ridge Golf Club, 18 holes with a card for two, an $80 value, just $48 for you guys.
There you go. That's a beautiful deal for
Fox,
you guys to play golf.
You betcha. FoxBigDeals.com.
Yeah, before you go anywhere, before you go out, before you go to dinner, before you order whatever. I went through it this weekend. I had
Jer Bear. Good morning to Jer Bear. Good morning, Jennifer, who is over on Facebook. You don't see her, but she's saying good morning all.
categorize. You can find it.
Yeah.
You can print it off before you go out, so you can walk right
Welcome
out
all to our simul stream.
and whatever, and get the Fox Big Deals.
Just in time for news.
FoxBigDeals.com.
Here it is.
Hold on for all the real news. 8 o'clock. Here's Hal Maas.
5 things that you should know from 103.9 The Fox, brought to you by Fick Landscape Supplies. As we spring into the new season, it's time to get that driveway in shape with tons of driveway material, plus the finest topsoil, compost, and humus. Fick Landscape Supplies, with 2 locations to serve you. Find out more at ficklandscapesupplies.com. Like us on Facebook, and now let's get thick and busy. Folks waking up this morning to word from the Vatican of the death of Pope Francis, who is generally considered one of the most popular popes in decades and a towering figure on the world stage. Pope Francis lent his voice to almost every modern issue facing the world, often taking the side of the marginalized and the vulnerable. The Pope had recently been battling a case of double pneumonia. He was 88 years old. Deadly motorcycle crash in Flint Township over the weekend under investigation. Multiple reports saying that a 20-year-old identified as Maddox Delameter of Leslie in Ingham County lost control of his vehicle, crashed into a guardrail along I-69 near Miller Road just before 11 Saturday night, was thrown from his motorcycle and died at the scene. Police say that speed was a factor in that crash. A reminder, if you're in Midland, that Consumers Energy has plans to cut power to about 2,000 homes in Midland this Thursday night from about 11 p.m. to about 7 a.m. Friday to perform some overnight work and replace a pole and equipment in the vicinity of M20 and Meridian roads. Tigers lost to the Kansas City Royals 4-3 in 10 innings yesterday. They'll be taking on the San Diego Padres tonight at Comerica Park. First pitch at 6:40 p.m. Great Lakes Loons doubled up the Dayton Dragons 8-4 for their 3rd straight win. Pistons and the Knicks playing Game 2 of their first-round playoff series tonight at Madison Square Garden after the Knicks took Game 1 on Saturday. And to cap this one off, gas prices in Michigan up 7 cents a gallon from last week, according to AAA Michigan. Statewide, the average price now at $3.15 a gallon for regular unleaded, and the most expensive prices over the past week have been in Saginaw, where the average has reached $3.20. That's 5 things you should know from 103.9 The Fox. Rain this morning. The possibility does exist of an isolated thunderstorm. Generally breezy conditions all day, too, with winds out of the southeast at 16 to 24. Shifting to the southwest this afternoon, could gust up to 38 miles an hour. Temperatures today expected to top off at around 67. Cloudy skies tonight with overnight lows around 39, and then the sunshine returns tomorrow, along with high temperatures hitting about 61. For Wednesday, some sun mixed with the clouds and perhaps a little rain in the afternoon. We'll be up near 70. Right now it's 49 in Flint, and in Saginaw also 49.
This is the Fox Home Morning Show. Morris on Muscle.
Flint's Classic Rock Authority.
103.9. The Fox.
Yeah, baby. Don't forget the Fox $1,000 Thursdays. Every Thursday we give away $1,000 to one of 16 finalists. You get 4 weekday chances to sign up to win this. We already had one at 7:20 this morning. That's the first one every day. Next one coming up at 11:20 with Steve Driver, and then 2:20 with Steve Driver, and then 5:20 with Roy Moore on your way home from work. And with Steve getting two, he ends up with almost all the winners
I know.
on the grand prizes, too.
Oh, Steve, all the time, man. We got to break that.
Yeah, he started saying on Friday, yeah, if you want to win the $1,000, you
I
got
heard
to
that.
win on my show first. No, you don't. You win it on our show, too.
Or Roy's, actually.
Roy is exactly on your way home from work, too. Lots of chances here on 103.9 The Fox.
Yes. All right. All right. Well, let me quickly give you an opportunity once again to check out not one but two Smile sources today. They live in Plymouth, Massachusetts. They are English golden doodles who are named Finnegan and Fiona. This is Finnegan. This is Fiona. Dressed up for Easter, as they were. The kind of thing that really would tick off Jacko if I put him in an outfit like that. Right? Jer Bear's been listening for a while. He knows the whole script, right? Here's the question at the bottom of the page. Occasionally we get these and I hesitate to read them. Why did the Golden Doodles hate going out in the rain? Why did the Golden Doodles hate going out in the rain? And the answer to that is, even with all of their gear on, they still might step in a poodle. Says it right there at the bottom of the page. What a way to start your day. All right. Well, we managed to make it through this day without any latency issues in our transmission and our connection with the studio. So hopefully that's going to continue. But tomorrow we're going to try it over on Instagram because that's what we do. Every day that starts with a T, we're on Instagram. And we'll be there tomorrow. Hal Maas _news. Look for us over there. And then back here for our simul stream again on Wednesday and again on Friday. And on Thursday we'll be in the Hal Hole Saloon where Rob Suka will be hanging out if he hasn't already gotten a head start with the fireballs by the time you guys arrive. So we'll see you guys tomorrow, hopefully, on Instagram after you've had yourself a pleasant, peaceful, productive Monday. Come on back and visit your friends, the Hal Hole, right here. Again, they are called the Hal Raisers. You're one of them, and we're glad to have you with us every time you show up. Thank you very much for being here. We'll catch you tomorrow, okay? Okay.